Hey guys, King Charmander here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you my top 5 teams for the Little Cup Remix. I feel like this is a terrible cup. I feel like this is like Hamtaro. If you ever watched Hamtaro, it's this really cute hamster anime. It was my childhood because Cartoon Network, and this is what I feel like the Little Cup has become. A little bunch of hamsters running around going on an adventure, except in this instance, it's hamsters trying to kill each other because we got the Little Cup. And of all the cups they had to bring back and put a spin into, why did it have to be a version of the Little Cup? I don't know why. But with the difference between this and a regular Little Cup is that with Remix, they banned 4 mods. Bronzor, Dano, Cottony, and... Cottony, who's the 4th one? Bronzor, Dano, Cottony... The 4th one's on like the top of my head, but I totally forgot what the 4th mod is. Anyways, 4 mods are banned in this cup. The 4 most used mods from last season. So the good thing is you're not going to see the Bronzor mirror, which is great. You're not going to sit here and annoy yourselves while you see the Bronzor mirror, and Paypack did help it a little bit, but not that much. But if you don't like this cup, you can always play the XL Cup, which is Open Ultra League. But if you are interested in Cup, hopefully these teams give you an idea. With those 4 banned, there's a few things that have changed, and there's a few things that have changed, but generally a lot of mods that you used for the last Little Cup can still work this time around. But before we get started, this is going to be my therapist mental health tip of the day. Of course, if you would like to skip this, all you have to do is go to the chapters list below and skip to the teams. You can literally do that. It takes 5 seconds to skip if you would like to. But this one's also going to be pretty quick. But since we're talking about little kids, this is going to be psychoeducation about children. If you have children, or if you see children, or you wonder why children run around everywhere, etc., or why that child is in the corner not playing or anything like that, that's worrisome. So this is an activity list for kids. So a little bit about depression when it comes to children. Like adults, children who are depressed often lose interest in their favorite activities. Also, like adults, this can cause a troubling cycle where inactivity causes depression to worsen. Children like playing. When you go around, children are probably playing everywhere. If it's a big part of your development is how much you played when you were a child. That determines a lot whether you're going to be creative or whether or not a lot of things are going to come up when you're a childhood. For example, children that are shy in the beginning usually tend to be shy when they develop and grow, unless they did make a friend or something like that that encourages them to be more active and be more outgoing. So this is a little fun activity list for kids. If you do have kids, this could help out with you. For here, simply moving and getting up and moving can make a huge difference for kids as far as like going around, which is why summer is typically the best for kids because they don't like homework. Some of them might do. If they do, I'm just like, wow, you're gonna grow up and be really smarter than I was. But this is just a list of activities that if you want to take a look at kids' behavior, these are typical activities that you can encourage your child to do. So the goal of this channel is to be as simple as possible. Fitting any kid's depression treatment, activities were chosen being funny and unique, but also practical. So this is a very practical list of stuff you could do with your child. I used to be a religious education director and teacher, so I've worked with kids for about 6 or 7 years. So I've worked with kids extensively, and definitely moving around does help out a lot. But hopefully this list does help you if you do have children, or it might give you a good glimpse of what activities children like to do if you're interested in that. But without further ado, without further ado, this is my top 5 teams for the Little Cup Remix, and let's get started. Alright, for the first team we have Why Not, Skorupi, and Ducklet. Skorupi Shadow is going to be your safe switch. The reason why Skorupi is so good in this cup is now that Bronzor, the annoying confusion user of death, is gone, now Poison is really good. Skorupi beats Why Not, and Skorupi, especially if you get the cross poison boost, is going to rev up and do a whole lot of damage. And has great coverage with cross poison and Aqua Tail as well. So if you lose the lead with Why Not, you safe switch into Skorupi. This team's also really annoying because you have the ability to debuff with Ducklet, and Why Not is just an annoying tank from hell. We hated Why Not for a reason the first time it came around, because of the big meta team of the first time Little Cup came out was, I believe, Dano. Like, it was Dano, Bronzor, and then Why Not. That was the big 3 when it first came out. Solid across the board, coverage, bulk, safety, high grades. Does really well, with the exception of you facing the Why Not in the mirror. Now, here's the fun fact. Skorupi Shadow is actually able to give Wynot a hard time in the 2 shield. So in the 2 shield, yes, you will lose it, but that leaves you the ability to farm their Wynot. Wynot will be able to get 1 mirror shot, 1 mirror coat out. However, Wynot's attack is so low that what you basically do is you say switch. If they switch Wynot into you, you can farm down their Wynot after you give up Skorupi, or they might even give up Switch. Then you can have Ducklet farm down, and Ducklet is one of the strongest closers in the Little Cup Remix. Just like in the Element Cup, Brave Bird does a ton of damage, and it will Brave Bird one-shot most things in this cup, except for things like Onyx where it's resisted. As you see, most threat scores for teams are going to have 600, about 500 or 600 below. Your only problems with this team, of course, is going to be Wynot. I already covered that. And of course, Drifloon. Drifloon sucks if you see one in the lead or the switch. So if you see a lot of Drifloon, this team might not be in your best interest. Or what you can do is you could switch out Skorupi Shadow for something like a Stunky, for example. You can use Stunky as well. Stunky is also a great safe switch you could put in this team. I like this combination though, just in case if you don't see a lot of Drifloon. Because Drifloon is good, however, there's a lot of things that can also kill Drifloon, like Alolan Vulpix, and of course, Chinchous. Alright, next up we got ABB. Shelmet was a popular lead in the Little Cup for before, just because of its ability to do a ton of damage with Body Slams and Bug Buzz. And since Bronzor is gone, now it has a lot more rain, especially in the lead, to be able to break your opponent's shields. This features Shelmet in the lead, Seal is going to be your safe switch, and Chinchou closes out. Chinchou's great coverage against a whole lot of the meta makes it really great in the closer. Thunderbolt and Bubble Beam. Now Bubble Beam doesn't do a lot of damage, but you can do debuffs with Double Beam, and of course Thunderbolt does a large amount of damage and will one-shot those Ducklets. So with this team, if you lose the lead, again, you safe switch into Seal. I still think like Seal is the strongest safe switch in the Little Cup, even though, yes, you don't have Bronzor as a target anymore, or things like Cottony. Seal is still a beast and a force to be reckoned with. It probably would have been in the ban listing if they didn't just ban the top 4, so that's why Seal is really freaking good. But with that being said, Seal, with its ability, it has amazing coverage and good grades across the rest of the board. If you scroll down, as far as the overall meta, the only thing that will give you probably somewhat of a problem is going to be Ducklet. However, when it comes to Ducklet, with Shelmet, you could try to Body Slam it to death. Ducklet has to Brave Bird you. It can't Bubble Beam you down. So you could either choose to use Shelmet, sack Shelmet in the lead, or switch into Seal if you lose the lead against Ducklets. As you see here, your only biggest problem is going to be Lickitung. Yes, because Lickitung is actually pretty decent in this cup, I'm not going to lie. The reason being is because the Lickitung, outside of seeing those Wynots, because Wynot's pretty much the only counter user in this, Lickitung's thick enough to where it will give Seal switches a problem. So as you see here, Lickitung and Seal, it gives it, when you put Lickitung on a Seal, Seal's Lick is resisted if they're using Lick Seal, so that's why it's really rough. Outside of Lickitung, I mean, Farfetch'd as well, but I already gave you most. So you lose a lead, you say switch into Seal, and then Chinchou and Shelmet with shields can close out, or you win the switch with Seal, and then all you do is just realign. Alright, next up you got Seal, Wynot, and Drifloon. Remember I told you Seal is a good safe switch? Guess what? You might also see it in the lead, and Seal in the lead. If you do happen to see Wynot lead, Seal is a great matchup against Wynot. This is going to feature Wynot as a safe switch. I kind of don't like Wynot as a safe switch, but Wynot is 100% across, like the strongest mon across the board across all three platforms. So you could safe switch into Wynot, and Wynot can possibly draw out things that you can do enough damage to where you can farm down with Seal when it comes out. But the reason why Seal is so good is because Seal doesn't carry the ice typing that Dugong carries. So because of that, you actually can beat Wynot into 2 shields. Amazing grades across the board. This team's very bulky, so you're going to be able to take a lot of damage. The only thing giving you a problem would be Volibee and Joltik. Ducklet isn't that much of an issue with Seal in the 2 shield. The only thing you have to watch out for Ducklet is, of course, you don't get Brave Bird, but that's pretty much it. On that, Volibee and Joltik. I don't foresee Joltik being the next big meta thing, and I have seen Volibees. There are people out there that have traded Volibees from low-level accounts so they can get one -500. They're out there. People will do it just so that they can get wins in the Little Cup. It's really sad, but it does happen. This team is pretty solid, though. If you see on your weaknesses, the only thing that gives you your top 2 is things you're likely not going to see. I already covered the Lickitung matchup. Licktung's probably your worst nightmare if you do see it. Outside that, Seal has a lot of play against a whole lot of other things. That or an electric type like Mareep or Chinchou. However, because Chinchou doesn't win the 2-shield against things like Why Not and they're more powerful leads, I don't think there's not a good chance you'll see Chinchou in a lead. If you do, that really sucks. Because, yeah, Chinchou good. But Chinchou also really gives Seal a problem just because of the fact that it can get to Thunderbolt and Lick doesn't charge up super fast. Alright, next up we got Dratini, Shelmet, Safe Switch, and Why Not. Shelmet was a good Safe Switch before because of its ability to take a lot of shields. With Drifloon running, if you see Drifloons running rampant, I'd be careful. But I don't foresee Drifloons running rampant either just because I don't think a lot of people are going to be willing to invest into a little cup Drifloon. I mean, do I have one? I'm gonna take a look. But for those of you that like Dragon Breath, this is gonna be Dratini is essentially gonna be those of you that like using Dano for the little cup on last season. Dano is better though just because it has Body Slam. Dratini's Aqua Tail is resisted by a few things, so it might be a little rough. As far as me having a Drifloon for Little Cup, I think I do. Actually, I do have one. But, wow, I actually do have one belt. But it's going to be rough, so yeah. You have Dratini, Shelmet, and then you have Why Not to close out. Shelmet's going to be a safe switch across the board, A's across the board. If this was a report card, this would definitely pass. Dragon Breath is still really strong. There's nothing that's going to resist, especially now that Bronzor is banned. Nothing's going to hard resist Dragon Breath, and you can Dragon Breath through a lot of things. In fact, this team has a relatively low threat score outside. The good thing is Dratini can blast its way through Drifloon in the 2-shield. That's pretty much the only thing. Other than that, you could still see things like Spiritomb in a lead, and of course you could see things like Alolan Sandshrew or Alolan Vulpix, the base form. So this team covers your 2 back row because Shelmet and Why Not does lose the Drifloon, so you need Dratini on Drifloon if you do happen to see one on your opponent's team. Other than that, really solid team with a low threat score, so if you like Dano or if you just like Dragon Breath in general, this one's for you, unless y'all really want to invest in a Jagmo. But Shadow Dratini and regular Dratini, those are a lot more accessible, and those can be used here in this version of the Little Cup Remix, especially now that Bronzor and Cottony are banned. And last but not least, for those of you Alolan Sandshrew enthusiasts, yes, I have an Alolan Sandshrew built for the Little Cup because it was a beast when it first came out, and with Night Slash, it is incredibly terrifying. However, now you have things like Why Nots running around. But I do like Alolan Sandshrew for this cup still, just because Alolan Sandshrew with Night Slash, it has great coverage. And this features Alolan Sandshrew and Seal with Seal as your safe switch. So this takes advantage of Seal safe switch, and instead of Bronzor, we have Why Not in the back. As you see here against meta, Alolan Sandshrew is able to close out against a lot of things, and it does threaten things like Lickitung, etc. just because a Powder Snow is able to generate energy quickly, and because of Night Slashes. I would love to see Drifloon lanes because Alolan Sandshrew is going to have a really good time, especially if your Sandshrew does boost. You do have a little bit of things that do annoy you though. As far as Alolan Sandshrew, your biggest threats are probably going to be Dewpider, and basically anything that resists Powder Snow. Anything that resists Powder Snow, like the water types, of course, Dewpider, you have Seal, as well as Chinchou, and ground types, Wooper. Wooper is still really good in this cup. The reason why you probably won't see it a lot more is just because Wooper still body slams things to death, etc. However, Chikorita, because Bronzor and Dano are not out here now, you can possibly see things like Chikorita or grass types running rampant. And things like Chikorita with Body Slam have a lot of good energy generation. So Wooper was a top safe switch before. You don't see in any of my teams now just because Wooper versus Why Not isn't exactly a good time for you. Yes, Wooper does get energy and it generates energy quickly. However, Why Not just punches the unholy crap out of the poor Wooper and just beats it down to oblivion. So pretty low threat score though, even though with the existence of Wooper, etc. I like this team a lot. It still does really solid. Seal versus Wooper isn't a bad matchup either, and you can go ahead and close out with Alolan Sandshrew, and of course Why Not is annoying as heck if you take out Why Not's weaknesses. This team did really well for me. If your Alolan Sandshrew does boost, it's really good. If you don't want to build a little cup Alolan Sandshrew, then you can use one of the other 4 teams here. But I love the little cup Alolan Sandshrew, and it did really well for me the first time Little Cup came around. So you're probably going to use, I'm definitely going to use it again this time around for Little Cup Remix. And that's game. I seriously don't know why they did this. I suppose it's a good little break because GoFest Seattle is going to happen. I'll be at GoFest Seattle, by the way. So I won't be wearing my Rebel jersey because Rebel is now Red Bull has now, well, yeah, Red Bull has now defuncted, but I will be wearing my new jersey with Godfire. So I'm part of a new org. I got absorbed into a new org when Red Bull moved over to Godfire. So I'll be wearing my new jersey. It's supposed to get here on Wednesday. So I fly out there. I'm going to get there on Thursday. So I will be going to GoFest Seattle. And they probably did this cup so that people, well, I'm not going to be GBLing up during, unless I'm like waiting for food or something like that. I'm not going to be battling while I'm in Seattle or I'm waiting at the airport or something like that. So yes, actually, that's a good idea. Get to the airport early so you could do GBLs, and then because you're going to be from Cali to Seattle, it's only like a 2-hour flight. So it's not going to take me very long before I get to Seattle anyways, or when I take my Uber to my hotel near the Seattle, near the Needle or Central Park, I'm going to just GBL them there. But I hope you all enjoyed the teams. I keep forgetting that I didn't do any battles because I haven't done a top 5 analysis in a while. But hopefully these top 5 teams give you an idea. Seal's a really powerful safe switch. A lot of combinations, a lot of metamons you had from before still work now, even with the top 4 banned. It just means now you won't have to worry about going through the annoying bronzor mirror, or you're seeing Cottonee just roll out and spear and just charm everything to death. So if you don't like this cup, you can go ahead and do Open Great Ultra League. However, that also means XL. So you could either do the XL cup or this really annoying baby cup. Not a lot of options here, but you could do that, or you could skip this week altogether. Or if you're gonna be at GoFest like me, we're gonna have a great time. Do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe and comment. I really do appreciate y'all that do so. I won't be streaming while at GoFest either, so if you do catch up on my streams or looking for it, I'm not gonna be there on GoFest. Well, I'll probably stream Monday morning when I get back from Seattle. But yes. Without further ado, good luck on your Go Battle Leagues, and I will see y'all on the next video.